Hello, 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 everybody. How are you? This is Shirley. It's Shirley's Threadwork. Thank you so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it as always. And I want to say thank you, of course, to everybody on YouTube and Facebook that is watching this live and everybody that will be watching the replay. Thank you so much for your support. And I do appreciate that so much. Happy Tuesday. It's Shirley's Wind Down Tuesday. Come on and join me for a fresh glass of whatever your libation may be. Mine is Blackberry Wine by Stella Rosa. That's one of my favorite wines. So glad that you are stopping by. Hi, Robin. How are you? How are things going? I know if you're like me, you're happy that there may be some of your snow that is melting. Oh, boy, I tell you, I am so glad to see that there is some melting snow. The weather is warming up just a little bit. Still cold to me, anyway. To me, it's still cold, but not freezing beyond uh, being able to bear it like it was all of last week and the week before that. And like I said, the snow is beginning to melt. The front of my apartment complex, basically, the parking lot pretty much is the snow has melted. um, the back of my apartment complex, because my apartment building backs up to a wooded area, and we see deer and fox and squirrels and lots of birds and all of that stuff. Um, the deers actually come up to our back and we can feed them and stuff, so that's kind of neat. But we still have a little snow out there that's beginning to melt as well. So I'm so glad to see that because I tell you, the snow has hung around way too long for my liking. I'm just going to be honest about it. I like for the snow to come. Well, I don't like for it to come, but when it does come, I like for it to come and go. It doesn't need to hang around. I'm just good with that. So I'm hoping the weather is beginning to break elsewhere. But I think I heard or read somewhere that it may be some more winter blasts coming through next week. I hope that's not the case, but that's kind of what I heard. So we shall see what's going to happen. Hi there. How are you? How are you doing? Hope all is well. Okay. How have your week been, you guys? My week has been okay. Not terribly busy. As you guys probably know, if you saw my latest video, I have been working on my quilt and I'm kind of happy with the results. And it's going along pretty good. Hi, Kim. How are you? You're getting more snow on Saturday and Sunday. Oh, my word. You know what? Like I told you, I heard that snow was coming. I don't know exactly where you are, but I heard that there may be some more snow coming. So I'm telling you. I'm ready for winter to be over with. I am not a winter person. I am not a cold person. I like for it to be warm. I like, oh my goodness, you're in Utah. Okay. All righty then. I can understand. You got all those mountains and everything. I have actually been to Provo. I have actually been to Provo, Utah. So I know exactly where that is. And yeah, I can get it. I can understand you having snow. So that's further west. So I don't know what's going on here. You say you grew up in Henderson, uh, Nevada? So you love the snow. Okay, good. Well, that's good. That's good. Hi, Carol. How are you? How are you doing? I am actually not in my working pod tonight. Okay. You're working on an in the hoop bag tonight, which is a rarity. Okay. Well, have fun with your bag. I haven't made one of those in a minute. I've been considering doing one. I have a couple of designs that I downloaded. Sweet Pea has one that free, little bitty one, and then Embroidery Library. I downloaded their little heart shaped little look like it might be a coin purse or something. And I've been thinking about doing one or both of those. Just haven't gotten around to it. So yeah, that sounds like fun in the hoop bag. Yeah. So let us know how that goes. And how's the weather there where you are, Carol? Um, and hi, Leslie. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Didn't want I saw you pop up, and I didn't want to forget you as I'm talking, because sometimes I get to talking and I see people pop up, and I get to talk and forget to shout you out. But I didn't want to do that because I saw you pop in. So thank you for stopping by. Oh my goodness, who said, Robin, my electric bill is through the roof? I have been seeing in I have a Ring camera, so you know the Ring. For those of you that have Ring, you know how it's almost like a community thing. Everybody that has a Ring kind of do the community thing. And I've been seeing messages pop up all over the place where people are talking about how I'm not even, well, ridiculous is a good word for it, but it's also scary that the bills have popped up so high. One person said their bill was $1,000. I saw somebody else say it was $650, and this is way above what they're used to. So I'm like, oh my word, that I'm in an apartment, so far it has gone up, yes, but it hasn't gone up that bad. So I'm very thankful and very lucky for that. And you have to understand, not only um, has it been cold, it was also the holiday, and people had up Christmas lights and all of that kind of stuff. So I can understand where the bill would be a little higher than normal, but that was ridiculous. That's scary. That is really scary. And Carol, you says clear and cold, no new snow, but the high today was about 15 above. Oh, that's cold. Hi, Becky. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. Hi, Marissa. How are you? How are things going in California right now? Um, I heard the fires had died down, and I also heard that they started over again in places. So how are things? I'm hoping you're still safe. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Thank you for stopping by as well. Do appreciate it. So, what time is it? Okay. It is 8:09. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Well, as you guys know, we've talked about it for a minute, and I guess my head is into fabric and stuff because of me taking on this quilting journey. And the fact that my Joann has closed, and we all have probably heard that Joann has filed for bankruptcy a second time. And what I've read and heard is that they are going to try to liquidate and sell off. So somebody probably will be buying them out, and if that's the case, not sure if all of the stores are going to close, if whoever buys them out will just come in, change the name, or keep the same name and have a totally different company run by different people. Don't know what's going to happen. Everything is up in limbo. But right now, the biggest concern and fear that most people have, and it's not just for quilting, because I know I was buying fabric. Obviously, we buy fabric for our embroidery as well, just like making purses and all of applications, all of the things that we do require to you know, be involved with notions and fabric and so forth and so on, and stabilize and all the things that we would go to Joann to get. So it affects the crafting industry. It affects all of us if Joann goes out of business. And what in the world are we going to do? How are we going to function if we don't have our regular place to go to. And because of that, if you go on Facebook, if you go on YouTube, there are dozens of different people talking about the bankruptcy, Joann closing, and then on top of that, there are people talking about where and how to buy fabric, where to buy fabric, and what we're going to do, and all of that kind of stuff. So I thought that I would talk a little bit about um, where to get fabric online, fabric and notions online, if that's something that you're interested in, because I know I am. And Marissa, you said things are good where you live. Okay, you're talking about the weather. So that's good. Praying for the world for everything going on. And you did get rain in California for 2 days. Yeah, I heard about that. So that's good. Thanks for the update, Marissa. But um, when I was making preparation to start working on my quilt, Uh, it's a mini quilt. It's not going to be a big one. It's a mini quilt. It's going to be like 32 by 32 inches. So it's not huge, but it's it's like a lap quilt or wall hanging or however you want to call it, but it will be quilted. But anyway, I was looking for fabric, and because I have the AccuQuilt uh, cutting system now, and I'm trying to learn how to use that and figure out what to do, I decided to follow a um, a quilting pattern that they have for beginners. So that's what I'm doing. So that led me to start looking for fabric to use. And I was going through my stash and what little stash I have. And I was hoping I was going to run across some usable fabric, but I didn't have enough. Even all the fabric that I showed you guys last week, which is what I thought I was going to be able to use, but I didn't have enough of the fabric that would match. I had like a yard of this and a yard of this and a yard of that. And I needed to have a little bit more than a yard for the two different colors that I had. So it wasn't going to work. And I bought it from Joann. So now that Joann has gone out of business and well has closed where I am, there was no way that I could go back to Joann with the hopes of finding more of that same fabric to be able to move forward with what I already had. I didn't have enough fat quarters that matched all of that stuff. So my personal stature was not working. So that said, okay, now you got to go buy fabric. And the only options I had was to go down the street from me to Hobby Lobby, go a little bit further to Walmart, or go much further to a quilting shop that I'm familiar with in order to select some fabric. So those were the places. So lucky I did have places to go, but none of them were as convenient as my Joann was, where I could, like I mentioned, it was 5 minutes away. I could just hop in the car and run down, pick something out, and come on back. And the Hobby Lobby is actually across the street from where the Joann was, so they're in the same location. So again, it's about 5 minutes away. So of course, my decision was to go to Hobby Lobby, and so I went, and I realized that even though they have a nice selection of fabric, I was in there about an hour. Hey, Sean, how you doing? I was in there about an hour, and it took me at least that long to make up my mind and pick out a fabric. And I did take my color wheel with me because I wanted to make sure what I picked out was going to work. And if I ended up putting prints and prints together and stuff, because I didn't even have exactly what I wanted. I didn't even know what color I wanted. All of those kinds of things. In my mind, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be moving. So when I set up my new shop, I wanted to use this quilt that I'm putting together now as a wall hanging. So it would be something that would be hanging on my wall in my embroidery studio, and I wanted to kind of go with my branded colors that I have. So that's what was on my mind, but I wasn't finding anything that was making me happy. So that is one of the reasons why I was in there for about an hour just looking and looking and looking, and I did finally come up with something, and I'm happy with what I got because I think it's cute, but I do feel like I was limited. I really felt like I was limited. So that got me to thinking, going forward, where will people or where will I and other people shop for fabric when you want to do quilting or you want to make bags and pillows and all the other things that we have been shopping for in our Joann's. Where do you go to get your stabilizers and 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 your SF 101s and all the other things, your needles and threads and different things that you may buy from Joann. I know for me, I did buy not a lot of stabilizer, but I did buy some stabilizer. I did buy some threads. I did buy some needles, but I didn't buy all my notions from Joann. I just have to be honest about it. I would go in there and look and see what was on sale, and if something that I needed was on sale, then I would get it. But as far as me relying upon that as my source to buy things like that, I've never done that. I've always did online. So that part doesn't bother me with the notions and stuff. But what did bother me and still does bother me is the fabric. And the fact that now it looks like I will have to start buying fabric until I move. And once I move, I don't know what's going to be available to me there. But I will have to start buying fabric online. Do people buy fabric online a lot? And if you do, please comment and let me know. Because if you're buying fabric online and you're comfortable with it, let me know where you're buying it from and how you make a decision to buy it. Because I'm going to go over what I have researched and found that people are saying that you should do if this is something that you have. Places that you go to buy fabric and how to make sure that you're selecting good quality fabric, which is what my topic is. So before I get in there, let me acknowledge Kim, you asked, is Joann the only big fabric store across the U.S. or are there others? As far as I know, Kim, at this moment, Joann was the only one left. Years ago, there used to be a Hancock fabric because when I was actually doing sewing and everything, and when I say years ago, it was years ago because I think they all went out of business around 2016, is what I read. And so what that's a good 9 years ago at that. And I'm not aware of any other big uh, retail shop. Now we have multitudes of quilt shops. And of course, there is Walmart, there is Hobby Lobby. Some people say Michael's have fabric. And I'm sure there's tons of little moms and pop stores and stuff in people's neighborhoods and stuff. But you have to also keep in mind what I have noticed and found going to quilt shops, you're going to get really good fabric, but you're going to pay good money for it, which is not bad because that's something else that I'll be talking about in a minute. It is good and important, really, if you're going to be serious about quilting, especially, you need to be using good fabric. Now, with that being said, as a caveat, for me, I do think what is wise if you are not a quilter, if you're not that familiar with quilting and you're learning like I am, I'm not comfortable with spending a lot of money on fabric because um, you can mess it up and you wasted a lot of money. And I think I mentioned this last week or whenever, when you're spending 10, 12, 15 on up dollars per yard for fabric and you cut it wrong, you got to go buy more or you don't cut it right and then your quilt is all wonky and it's not hanging right and you can't get your points and all of that kind of stuff, then I'm pretty sure you're not gonna feel good about that because I know I wouldn't. When I made the quilt for our sew along, I got that from the fat quarter shop, and it came in their kit, which was a reasonable price. It wasn't really super expensive because it was a beginner's quilt, and I'm pretty sure it was all solid fabric, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't their top of the line, although it was a name brand Moda. I understand that that's a name brand. But I messed it up. I messed up some of it. I didn't have any to replace it, and I end up having to go to Joann and Hobby Lobby and try to find something that would match it as close as possible to be able to finish some of the blocks. Because, like I said, when I was cutting it out, there were some pieces that I did not cut out correctly, and uh, I was short with my project if I hadn't found some to replace it. So you have to be mindful of things like that when you're going to these quilt shops and you're paying $80 for a 12 stack of fat quarters or 10 stack of fat quarters. And I mean, for me, maybe that's not expensive for quilting. I don't know, but for me, that was expensive. And I know the quilt shop that I am familiar with, which is it is a baby lock dealership, and they sell quilting fabric in there. And I don't think they have any material in that at all that's less than $13 a yard. That's their beginning price, and then they go up from there. They do have sales and stuff, but everything that I've ever looked at going in there, the beginning price was always $12.99. I never saw anything that was less than that, which is not terribly expensive, but it's not cheap either. You know, compared to going into Walmart or even Joann and finding $3.99, $5.99, $6.99, $7.99. Those were the prices, and then you can get the 40% off and all of that kind of stuff. So you could do well even in Hobby Lobby if you go on the week that they have their 40% sale on fabric, which is every other week. One week is ribbons, one week is fabric, one week ribbon, one week is fabric. That's how they do it. Then even if you're spending um, $10 a yard or more, if you go on the right week, then you take 40% off of that. So now you're down to $6 a yard. So still that's not bad. So that part is good. So let me see what you guys are saying. Um, Hi Danielle, how you doing? Hi Deborah, how are you? Um, Oh, you're in California, Deborah, with your sister. Well, have fun. That's cool. That's cool. Um, Daniel said, "What, California? Yep, there you are." And um, I see Robin and Sean. I did ask that question. You guys answered it yes. Uh, you will make Sean. You will make a list of vendors and places where you have from some vendors that you've met, okay? And Sean, you're also saying Hancock Fabric is online now. Okay, and they do have a store in Kentucky. I did not know that, but that's good to know. Hancock Fabric. I liked Hancock Fabric. I did. And Leslie, you purchased some organza fabric from Wholesale Direct. And Pearl, hi Pearl, how you doing? You said you bought fabric from Missouri Star and L'Oreal, but she's shutting down. Okay. And Sean said there is a Hancock of Paducah. I've heard that. I don't know if it's the same Hancock, but I've heard that. And Robin, you say you bought from Marshall Dry Goods, Connecting Threads, Backwater Shop, Green Fairy Quilts, Etsy, Missouri Stars, and other. Good, good. I'm gonna leave that up for a minute so people that want to copy that down can. And Kim, and that's why scrappy quilts are the best. You can throw in a bunch of unmatched fabrics. Yeah, you can. I'm too new into quilting to get into that part yet because I'm a little leery with. Anyway, I've seen I've seen the scrappy quilts, and if you really know what you're doing, and if you know how to put your colors and stuff together, then yes, they will turn out really cute. But you do have to pay attention. Um, my thought, anyway, in how you're putting these scraps together because they need to make sense to me, color wise, pattern wise, all of that. They need to make sense to me, or I'm not going to be able to do it. So hopefully anybody that wanted to write these places down, and I'm going to give you more places as well that Robin says, and Robin is a quilter, so she would know where to get her quilts. Marshall Dry Goods, Connecting Threads, Fat Quarter Shop, Green Fairy Quilts, Etsy, Missouri Star, and other. Um, and she did say Etsy Pearl, yes. And Kim, you say if you buy on Etsy, I would do a search to see if the seller has a separate website and buy from there because the seller is saving the 20% that Etsy charges to list. Yeah. Okay. So my question was, when buying quilting fabrics online, what are some of the tips that you should follow in order to make sure you're going to get a good quality fabric? Because again, like I said, if you're going to invest in a quilt, and we all know if you do good quilting and you know what you're doing, quilts can be very expensive to to make as well as be able to sell. People pay good money for a good quilt, so you can make good money off of quilts. So the first thing they say is understand your fabric type and weights. Familiarize yourself with different fabric types and their weights. Quilting cotton is a popular choice due to its durability and ease of use. And I think that's one of the most popular uh, quilting fabric that most people do use and probably the easiest. I don't know if that's not true. Please correct me. But I'm thinking that it's the most popular and the easiest to use in quilting, and that is quilting cotton. Um, be sure to read the product descriptions and specification. Now, I'm specifically talking about buying fabric online. Pay close attention to the product and description and specification provided by the seller. Look for details about the fabric's weave, thread count, and color fastness before you buy it. Um, because remember, when you buy it online, you can't touch it, you can't feel it, you really can't look at it and see the colors to make sure this is the true color that you're looking for. If you're, especially if you're trying to match it up to something that you already have, or even if you're trying to make sure that it's going to work in your decor because you have a peach room and you want something peachy that's going to go with it and you get it and it's more orange than it is peach, or it's more pink than it is peach, or it's even more yellow than it is peach because you're looking at a picture online. So you have to be very careful with that. And uh, I'll get to that in a minute. I was about to say something. Number three, evaluate customer reviews and ratings. Check customer reviews and ratings to get an idea of the fabric's quality and the seller's reliability. Look for feedback on the fabric's texture, color accuracy, and overall satisfaction. That is a must. However, especially if you're buying off of Etsy, I have to admit, I have bought fabric off of Etsy and I've been satisfied. I'll put that out first. I have bought fabric from Etsy, not a lot, and I have been satisfied with what I bought. I have not had a complaint with the fabric. However, I have bought many, 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 many embroidery designs off of Etsy, and I've had some duds. However, I did look at the reviews, and the reviews said that they were fine. They had 5 stars. They had all of that. So you don't always know how true the reviews or how accurate the reviews are when you're reading them. And I'm just pointing out, even though I do have an Etsy shop, I'm just pointing out what can be something to be concerned about or aware of when you're looking at reviews because you don't know how um, reliable and accurate those reviews are. But you do need to look at them. And hopefully you'll be dealing with somebody that has well, quite a few reviews. And what I was about to say is number 4, request swatches before large purchases. If possible, request swatches or samples before making a large purchase. This allows you to physically inspect the fabric's quality and color. So if you're going to make a major investment, and they said large purchase, and I'm saying if it is a large amount of money, if you're buying a high end quality brand name or designer name fabric, usually you can be comfortable that it's a really good fabric. But if you're going to spend a lot of money, see if you can get a swatch. Pick you 2 or 3 different colors and see if they can send you a little swatch, even if you have to pay a little money for it. That would, for me, would make more sense than to make an investment of quite a bit of money to buy the fabric. They've cut it, they've sent it to you, you paid the ship and all of that, and then you get it and you're totally disappointed because it isn't the color you wanted, it isn't the weight you wanted, it isn't the texture that you thought it was, all of those things. So if it's at all possible, request a swatch um, so you can actually touch and feel it, especially if you have time, because if you're not pressed for time for the mail to go back and forth. Also important is the return policies and guarantees. Ensure the seller has a clear return policy and satisfaction guarantee. This provides peace of mind in case the fabric doesn't meet your expectation. So if you do get this, you don't like it. It's the wrong color. It's the wrong texture. You thought it was gray and it turned out to be a pale blue. You thought it was purple and it turned out to be a deep blue or something along that line. It's not exactly what the picture depicted it to be, and you're totally dissatisfied with it, you can't use it, and you've had it cut and sent to you, and they won't take it back, and you've spent a good amount of money. That puts a bad taste in your mouth. So make sure that you know what their return policy is and their satisfaction guarantee before you make that order. And again, I'm talking about buying online. Compare prices across multiple stores, price different online stores with different online stores. So to make sure you're getting the best deal, be cautious of prices that seem too good to be true, as they may indicate lower quality. So that is true, especially for those that are used to doing quilting and you know your products and you know your names, you know the brand names, you know all of those designer names, and you know what those costs are. And then you find a shop that says, "Oh, we have Riley Blake for X amount of dollars," when you know that is way lower than what it should be. Or we have uh, fabric that is comparable for X amount of and you get it and it is thin like tissue paper, those kinds of things. So you want to be very careful. Hey, Claudette, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Um, and Kim, you say Soye Quilting in Las Vegas. You can buy from them, and they do have they're on online. I get email from them all the time. I get email from a lot of different fabric shops. I don't know why I get so many of them because I don't buy a lot of fabric online. Not yet, anyway. And Claudette, you said, hi, you're from Southern Maryland. How you doing? And you have purchased from Etsy Marshall Dry Goods Fabric Hut 67 Jordan Fabrics, Missouri Star, and Hancock of Paducah. So here you have another list, you guys that are interested in it. I'm going to leave it up for a second or so you can write that down. And then Sean has put up a big list as well. I'll be putting her list up too, so you can write that down if you're interested in these places, because as we are seeing, there's a lot of places that you can purchase fabric from if you don't have a Joann. But keep in mind, you are buying sight unseen. So that part, for me, it is a concern. But right now, I don't have a big choice. Um, Also, it is saying join online quilting communities for recommendation. Engage with online quilting communities and forums to get recommendations from fellow quilters, which is basically what we're doing right now. They can provide valuable insights and share their experiences with different online fabric stores. So, hopefully, you guys are writing some of these places down, because some of the names I'm seeing repeat, like the Marshall Dry Goods and the Missouri Star. I have heard of them. Etsy. Now, Etsy, keep in mind, Etsy is not the one selling the fabric. We all know that. People are on the Etsy platform, but they have their own personal shops. So when you say you buy from Etsy, you're actually buying from a designer that is affiliated with Etsy. So when you go on Etsy and you put in there that you're looking for, like the first time I ever bought fabric off of Etsy, I was making masks, and one of my customers wanted a pink fabric that was pink with black polka dots. Now I could find in Walmart pink with white polka dots all day long. Everywhere I went, Joann, pink with white polka dots. I couldn't find pink with black polka dots anywhere. Joann, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, nowhere I went could I find pink with black polka dots. So naturally, I went on to Etsy and typed in there fabric, cotton fabric, pink with black polka dot, and I found a shop and I bought it, and I still have some of it because I think I bought a yard or whatever. Excuse me. And it was sent to me, and I was satisfied. That's the other thing that you have to keep in mind. Now, it's not a big deal if you're a quilter, because normally, if you're a quilter, you're going to buy, a nice size piece of fabric. But for me at the time, and even now, I did not normally buy yards of fabric. I am notorious for a half a yard, a quarter of a yard, a yard. Rarely would I buy 2 yards unless I knew for sure I was going to be doing something that may require me to do 2 yards, or I really liked the fabric and I wanted to have enough of it to do other things with. But I would always buy a yard or a half a yard, or even sometimes if I know I was just doing an applique or something, a quarter of a yard up in Joann, because that would be the smallest that they would cut it, a quarter of a yard. I go in there and get a quarter of a yard or whatever and come on out and do my thing. When you are buying online, that ain't gonna work. You're not gonna do that. You are not gonna do that. You are gonna definitely have to buy. I don't know if you can buy as small as a yard, but I'm thinking you're gonna have to definitely buy at least 2 yards or more. Now, these are the places that Sean at So Savvy Designs says she goes to: Threads and You, So Yay Quilting, and she said they sell live on YouTube, and I've seen that. Millie's Design Company, Fabric Cafe, Shabby Fabrics, Social Creative Pink, Sand Beach Design. I guess that's one. Social Creatives Pink, Sand Beach Designs, GE Designs, and you said they sell on YouTube as well, and then Linda's. Soye Quilting, I've seen them online. I've not seen the other ones. I've seen Shabby Fabric. Um, and I'm trying to think of the one that I looked at last night that was selling. They were selling fabric online. And she was selling fat quarters, and she had some panels that worked with the fat quarters. Her panels were $5 a piece, and her fat quarter, although they were bundled, some of them were four bundles, some of them were as many as 12 in a bundle, but they were $2 a fat quarter. So if it was four, then that was what, $8, and 10, that was $20, so forth and so on. So that's how she was selling it, but I cannot remember what the name of that place was. And I was watching, and they were really cute. They were really cute. And I have to be honest about it, I did like kind of how she was doing it, even though I couldn't touch it or anything like that. She did get a pretty good close up on the camera, and she went through the fat quarter so you could see each fat quarter. And of course, they were coordinated very well. So it gave you a good idea of what you would be getting and all of that. I was watching it through the TV, so I really didn't pull it up on my phone so I could go in and see, play with it and stuff like that, ask questions, what have you, because it was live. Because I didn't know exactly how they were buying it, if they were bidding it, or how they were doing. Because it was limited. She would have four of these, two of these, six of these, so forth and so on. I cannot remember the name of that darn thing. And another one that Sean says she buys from is Quilt Country. Uh, Kim Kim said, "Where are you? You're gonna." Sean said, "Oh, Kim says she's thinking about going to QuiltCon next month." And Sean says, "Be sure they're not sold out because they sell out quickly." I'm not familiar. Where is QuiltCon? And where is QuiltCon? Okay, and Sean said that social creative is one place and Pink Sand Beach Design is another place. Okay, good. And Sean says the local quilt shops sometimes participate in shop hops and also have sales on fabric. The shop hops are so much fun. I am familiar with shop hops. I think if you're talking about where you buy the coupon book and then you can go, I think it's a coupon book or something, and you go to different places and you get the discount. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. If that's the case, I know my quilt shop that's close to me does not participate in that. Because me and my girlfriend and I, me and Andrea, we checked it out one time and asked them about it, and they said no, they don't participate in that. So if that's what you're talking about, check with your local quilt shop and see if they participate in it before you get all excited and say, "Oh yeah, we can do that," and have the coupons and stuff. And Kim, you said the QuiltCon is in Phoenix this year. I have to look up QuiltCon. I'm not familiar with them, but as you guys know, my quilting experience is think brand new. So I'm just now getting into the hang of it. But I see you guys obviously been quilting and quilting and quilting, so that's good. So and Val, you're saying you like the shop hops. I have to find out if there's going to be any of that kind of stuff around where where I end up moving to. When you are in the process, as we talked about, understand the types of fabrics and the weights and everything. Make sure that you know what type of fabric you're getting because there's so many different types out there besides the quilting cotton, as we all know. And you want to make sure that you know what the fabric is when you see it, especially if you're going to get it online because they're going to tell you or should tell you what kind of fabric it is so you have an idea what it's going to look like when you get it. Everything is not quilting cotton. everything's not going to look or feel like cotton. So you need to make sure, there's a difference between linen, cotton, wool blend, woven, all of those kinds of things, and you need to know what they are. So when you're ordering them online, since you cannot feel it, you can't touch it, you can't see it, all of that, you'll know when they describe it, what it is. So let's see what Sean said. QuiltCon is in Arizona. It is a large quilting expo for the modern quilt guild. Lots of training and vendors. Okay. And I was right about the shop hop. The shop hop is one where you purchase a book and it gives you a listing of shops, and you found shops that you did not know existed. Great experience. Great. They don't have one. Well, my place didn't participate. I don't even know where you buy them. Jenny said you purchase fabric from Michaels, which I understand Michaels is selling fabric. My Michael does not. Somebody said they sell it back there near the frame area. I went back there the other day and my Michaels ain't no fabric back there. Now I did go into a Michaels somewhere and they had some fat quarters. Not my Michaels is not far from me, but in another area not too far away, that particular Michael did have some fat quarters. Or maybe it was the Michael in Florida. I don't know. But anyway, I did see fat quarters in Michaels. But my Michaels that's close to me, they don't have a lick of fabric in it. No kind of fabric. Now, Fat Quarters has this article out that I picked up that talks about fabric. And they start off talking about quilting cotton, which is the ideal choice for quilter because it does make a fantastic quilt. 100% cotton has a plain weave, making it a stable fabric that is easy to work with. And it comes in so many different colors and designs. And the most important, difficult part about this fabric might be choosing your favorite, which I understand because, like we all pretty much know, the bulk of fabric that you buy for quilting is quilting cotton. You can get it in yardage, you can get it in pre-cuts like charm packs, jelly rolls, layer cakes. I've learned what these things are. I still got a lot to learn, but at least I know what some of those things are because I was seeing these things. I didn't have a clue what they were or what you call them. So I feel pretty good about the fact that I'm picking up on the lingo about quilting and stuff. But you want to make sure that you get high quality cotton, um, and it's good for beginner quilters. And for the Fat Quarter Shop, they said their beginner quilt kit features Bella Solid by Moda Fabric, which is what I have and what I made my first quilt with. Hold on, I only have one. For those of you that may not have seen the when we did the reveal, this is the quilt that I did with the Fat Quarter Shop, and it's a 50-inch by 50-inch quilt, and they had me go through and do all of these different blocks and what have you, and they're all solid color, and then you got the solid color of the back the background and stuff. It's not perfect, nowhere near perfect, but it's my first try, and I thought since I had never quilted anything ever in my life, had never pieced anything or whatever, that I did pretty good. But like I said, my biggest problem was cutting it out and everything, and there was some things that I didn't cut correctly, messed up the fabric because they don't send you extra fabric. And I didn't think about asking for or ordering extra fabric for people like me that mess up. Thank you, Sean. I was quite happy with my first quilt. I'm gonna be honest about it. I was took a pink that I managed to put this whole thing together. The whole thing together. All by myself. And I got my points. Do you hear me? I got them points, honey. I got my flying geese and everything. Tell me I didn't get that stuff together. But it it's all plain. It's all the solid colors. All solid colors. But it's pretty good fabric. So I was quite pleased with that. Um Jenny said you did a great job. Thank you so much. And I saw that. Look at you. Girl, you just don't know. My first quilt was a tie quilt. Don't ask me how many years ago that was. Well, this was last year. That's my first quilt. I'm gonna be honest about it. I had never quilted anything in my life because I didn't think that I wanted to. And we decided, the social society group, that we get together every Wednesday night and we decide, what we're gonna do, and what our projects are gonna be. We've done many. I have videos of our reveal for all the ones that we did last year, and we celebrated our year anniversary back just before Christmas in October. It was a year that we started, and one of the things that we decided we were going to do was quilting. We talked about edge to edge. In order to get to edge, you had to have something to quilt. So we decided to do quilting, and that's how we came up with that, which turned out to be good. So a lot of us, um, well, several of us had not quilted before, and several of us had. So it was a mixed bag, which was fine, which was also interesting because we were able to help each other. That part was good because, like I said, I didn't have a clue about nothing in quilting. I didn't know what a charm pack was. I didn't know what a jelly roll was. I didn't know any of that. I had seen these things, but I didn't know what they were. I didn't know what you did with them. I didn't even know the purpose of them. And I certainly did not know what you called them. So that particular beginning quilting kit and class that I did with the Fat Quarter Shop helped me a lot. I loved it, and it was free. The kit's not free, but the training is free on YouTube. I forgot how many. It's quite a few videos because the lady that does the class, she goes through it step by step by step by step. She's like Becky Thompson at Power Tools and Thread. She talks to you like you don't have a clue of anything, which I like because I didn't have a clue of anything. The part that she told you about your machine and the sewing machine and that kind of stuff, I was cool because I knew how to sew. I knew about sewing machine, but I didn't have a clue about cutting anything out. I didn't have a clue about none of what the patterns were called or any of those things like that, and how to cut it, how to measure it. I didn't have a clue about any of those things, and she walked you through it. She talked about how which way you even press your seams and stuff to nest them together and stuff. None of the things that I knew anything about. So now that I'm doing this quilt that I'm doing because of my Acu quilt, and I'm looking at the guy on Acu quilt and his video, he's not as thorough as this lady is, which is okay for me because when I went to that other class, I learned so much from her that I understand what he's doing. I've never really read. I read the pattern that I did with the fat quarter, but I was reading it with the lady. This particular pattern, I'm reading it on my own, and I'm surprising myself. I'm understanding it because I tell you, it looks like a foreign language if you don't have a clue what you're doing. And I'm just give you guys a quick peek. I am doing, I am doing, I am doing my pieces. And I'm just loving how my points are coming together. I am so happy. I am so happy. I did this one, which I looked at this and I thought this was going to be so complicated because it looks complicated. But I did my star. You guys saw, I think it's called a sawtooth star. I'm proud of me. I am proud of me. But I have to tell you, I owe all of this to that AccuQuilt. I ain't gonna lie about that. I owe all of that to my AccuQuilt because that has allowed me to cut my stuff out right, one block at a time. Yep, yep. Uh, and it's fun. It's. I don't know if I would ever become a quilter like some of you other ladies are, like Robin. Robin, I believe she sews a quilt every day. She's sewing on a quilt. I don't know if I will ever get to that point because I'm not, I don't, I like what I'm doing because I like that I'm learning. I like the fact that I feel like I'm achieving my goal. Who's that, Sean? So sorry to tell you already that. I don't think so, not yet. Because I have to tell you, I put it aside and said, "Look, I'm enough of this. Let me go do something else." Whereas I probably could keep going and going and going. I think if I was really hooked on it, but you have finished your first one and you have already started something. I'll tell you why in a minute. But anyway, um, I I like the fact that it is turning out the way I want it to turn out, and because it is cut correctly. That was my biggest issue with the first one because, like I said, I messed up fabric because I didn't cut well, and I knew that was my deficit. I've been saying that for the longest. That is my deficit. I don't cut well at all, and I don't think I ever will cut well on my own. But with the AccuQuilt system, using the dies, your cut is going to be accurate, and then you can get done with it quickly too. That's the other thing. You cut out all the stuff you need to cut, and you're done with that. Everything is cut out. Then you just have to piece it together. That part helped because you can move along quicker. And I like that. So I'm enjoying the fact that I do have the machine. I was talking to kind of sort of talked my own self in it, but everybody else that had one said I needed one and it was going to be something I was going to be happy with. So I listened and I got one and I'm not disappointed at all, even though I do believe that they're quite expensive. Um, the dyes are expensive, the machine is expensive, but if you are a true quilter, I do think it's worth it. If this is something that you're going to do, if you're not good at hand quilting, hand cutting, some people are very good at it and some people love it. Like the crafty Gemini, she said that's her favorite thing to do is cut, and I'm like, bless your heart, because you're rare as far as I'm concerned, because that is nowhere near my favorite thing to do. And when I found my quarter-inch foot presser foot, when I did this one, the one that I just showed you, the one I finished, I had found my presser foot. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. I was so glad because that helped me to get my points together. So now I feel better. But am I going to have the quilting bug? I don't think so. I might, but I don't think so. There you go on with your bad self. And Kim said it's addicting. I see it must be addicting because I'm telling more and more of you guys are quilters. And I had no idea that so many people were really into the quilting thing. I had no idea. And I kind of missed this one, Sean, where you said Road to California is another large quilt expo that's happening in California in the fall. There is the largest one in Houston, International Quilting Festival. It is huge. Vendors for days and quilts for miles. Yeah. I I do want to go to a quilting expo eventually, but I can see where it can be dangerous. I do. I can see where it could be dangerous because you're gonna get in there and you're gonna buy up a bunch of stuff. And when I say you, I'm talking about me. I can see that happening to me at all. Sean said you did. Oh my goodness, girl. You did 15 quilts last year. Do you sell your quilts, Sean? Because I've always wondered. That was a question that I wondered. Because I know you do long arm too, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so I would assume you sell them. Because I wonder why in the world would people make so many quilts? What do you do with them? So you do sell your quilts. Okay, makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Because beyond that, I wouldn't see any purpose in that. I don't know if I will ever get to the point where I'm actually making them and selling them because I don't think I would do them fast enough. And Kim said, where do you live? QuiltCon will be out east next year. Currently, I'm in Maryland. Um, but I'm not 100% sure this is where I will be next year. So, and Robin said you give them away. Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure, Robin, you give them away because you make so many of them. My word. Robin is so fast in making quilts. Trust and believe me. And don't let Deborah is on here and Danielle is on here. They make quilts too, and they make them fast as well. They're beautiful quilts too. And so I have seen those are people that are part of the social society crew that we meet every Thursday, and I know what they do because I've seen them do it. They make good quilts. They're beautiful quilts. They need to be making them and selling them. If I made them and sold them, I'd be in the poorhouse because I would never get them. Oh, all it takes is one family member to see you making a quilt. It goes from there. People will be asking. It's just gonna be asking. Claudette, you you started quilting last September, okay, and you had to learn quickly about quilting and supplies needed. It was a culture shock. Even the sewing machines were different to me. Okay, I can relate to that. I can. It reminds me of getting into embroidery because, as you said, your supplies and your equipment, the terminology and the skill is different. It does help to know how to sew, period. Because some people don't know how to sew a straight line. And if you can't sew a straight line, it's going to be difficult, not impossible, because you got to learn how to do that. But it's going to be difficult. But that's the same thing if you're learning how to embroider. You have to learn the process in order to do whatever craft that you're doing, whatever craft that you do, you have to learn the process. And once you learn the process and hone in on that skill, then you can accomplish the goal. And that's what I've always felt with my journey in crafting. And I've done several things. I used to sew a lot years and years and years ago. I used to make clothes. No, I'm not a sewist. No, I don't know how to make patterns. No, I don't know how to do a lot of adjustments and alterations and all that kind of stuff. I just cut out the pattern, made it fit, and put it on and wore it. Didn't make clothes for other people, made clothes for myself and my daughter, and that was it. Got away from it and haven't made clothes in decades, and I mean literally decades. So I'm getting back into sewing, which I'm glad because I wanted to refresh my skills. And I have bought some patterns where I'm going to make some pants. I got two patterns, I believe, and I got the fabric to make some pants. I haven't done it yet, but eventually I'm going to get around to doing that. But my love is embroidery, and I don't want to get away from doing that at all. I don't ever want to get away from embroidery because that's what I love. I love embroidery. And you can incorporate all of that into your other crafting things that you do. And that part I like because you definitely can incorporate that into your quilts because if you do edge to edge with your embroidery machine, you can do appliques, you can do all kinds of different cute designs and what have you, and incorporate that into your quilts, which is what I will be doing with, as Sean say, I'm hooked already. With the next quilt I do, because yes, ma'am, I will be making another quilt once I'm done with this one that I just showed you that I'm piecing together now. I am going to make some more quilts because I did not invest in the active quilt machine and the dies just to make this one quilt. So yes, I will be making more quilts. That is the plan. But when I say I'm not hooked, I don't think this is going to be something that I do all the time. It would just be something that I add to my repertoire. So that's where I am when I say I don't think I'm going to get hooked on, but that's just me. I don't think I'm going to get hooked on. Batik fabrics. Talk about that a little bit. It adds a natural elements to a quilt with their organic pattern and range of colors. Batik fabric is created using a wax-resistant dyeing process where the fabric is drawn on with wax, then dipped into the dye. And depending on the desired pattern, the process can be repeated multiple times for intricate designs. Batik fabric is generally more tightly woven than quilting cotton, whereas it often costs more. Because if you go into your quilting shop or even Joann or something, and you look at their batik and you look at the quilting cotton, they're usually more expensive. It results in a slightly stiffer fabric that tends to resist fraying. Batiks are said to shrink less than quilting cotton since they've been wetted and dried in the drying process, so they probably already shrunk as much as they're going to. And batik fabric is 100% cotton and comes in a wide variety of colors and patterns, making it an excellent choice for creating unique and colorful quilts. Its crisp feel of fabric softens with the use. It can be used on its own or paired with quilting cotton. There's a tight weave resistant fraying, making it ideal for foundation pieces and bias cuts. Excuse me. Popular brands are Hoffman Fabrics, Robert Kaufman Fabrics, Raleigh Blake Designs, Timeless Treasures, and more. Now, I'm familiar with the Robert Kaufman and the Raleigh Blakes. I'm familiar with those, so I am learning. But those are names that I've seen before. And Kim said you love batik fabric, but you have heard from so many quilters that they don't like to quilt with it. Okay. And why would that be? Is it because it's stiffer? And then Carol said batiks are your favorite. That's interesting. I have not bought any. No, I don't think I have any. I've looked at it, started to buy it, but I don't know why I've never really bought any. Probably because I didn't want to pay the money for it. Knowing me, I probably didn't want to pay for what I was going to do. I probably did not want to pay the money for it. Um, Woven fabrics, often called wovens, can add a beautiful texture element to your quilts. The fabric is a yarn dyed rather than printed, so the fabric is identical from front to back. Woven cotton is lighter in weight than quilting cotton fabric, making it ideal for a variety of uses such as clothing, home decor items, and accessories. The woven cotton has a lower thread count, resulting in a looser weave, which makes it fray more easily. Treating it with liquid starch can help with that. It is lightweight with a nice drape, reversible because it's the same on both sides, and it is nice for making a lightweight quilt, curtains, or napkins. And Kim said because the weave is so tight. Yeah, I love and you, Carol. You like batik for lining and bags. Okay, I can see where that would work. Maybe that's the reason why I'm not bought any batik. Now, flannel, which I have a lot of flannel fabric, is perfect for keeping you warm on chilly evenings. That's why we pull out the flannel PJs. I don't sleep in that. Well, yeah, I do. I don't sleep on flannel sheets. I don't like flannel sheets. And flannel quilts when the temperature drops. Flannel is made from 100% cotton in a thick, lofty weave known for its softness and warmth. It can shrink considerably, so you may want to pre-wash flannel. It is thick and soft, recommended for pre-wash, perfect for rag quilts, baby blankets, and quilt backings. And of course, you can get them at fat quarters, uh, in half yard bundles or yardage. And you can get a lot of flannel at Joann. They have a lot of flannel. Linen fabric has long been used in summer clothing because of its durability, breathability, and drape. It's made with fibers of the flax plant, as the sole fiber are blended with cotton. It can lend texture and interest to your quilt or sewing project. When blended with cotton, it can be for quilting and sewing projects in much the same way you would use quilting cotton. Its combination of luxury and durability makes it a great choice for bags and purse. It is strong and lightweight, used for bags, summer clothing, curtains, and quilt. I don't know if I would make a linen quilt. I don't know. I don't know about that. Kim said batiks from India have a looser weave. Okay. Now, Minky. Oh my goodness. Minky cuddles and Minky fabrics are ultra soft and warm and a pain in the behind to sew. Um, they're perfect for creating baby blankets, cozy robes, scarves, toys, and quilt backings. They also make a nice cuddly pillow backing. Minky fabric is a polyester knit, so it has some stretch. You may want to use a special needle that's made for knits on your sewing machine. And the fat quarters, they have several videos to show you how easy it is to make quilts and blankets and all of that with Minky fabric. Minky fabric, as we all know, if you've ever used it, can be very difficult to stitch. You have to pin that stuff really, 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 really well to keep it from slipping and sliding all over the place so you can get all of your so you can get your seams together and stuff. I don't know if I would want to use that to make a quilt with at all. It is soft and warm, good for quilt backs, plush toys, baby blankets. It requires special handling when cutting and sewing, and I agree. Sean, you say you love Minky. You had my personal one quilt still awaiting binding because I have been, yeah. Minky is a booger to sew with. Expect a room full of fluff when you are done. I agree. I have some Minky. Uh, yeah, it's interesting. But Robin says great on quilt backs, and I can believe that because it would actually be very comfortable and soft and cuddly. I can get that. But see, you're not piecing it. I wouldn't buy it to piece. I don't think. I don't think I would do that because that would drive me crazy. Rayon. Rayon is a lightweight fabric with a silky feel that lends itself to lightweight garments like tops, dresses, and scarves. Rayon is not considered as durable as other fabrics, but it is an excellent alternative to silk due to its low cost and easy maintenance. Every season, quilt manufacturers release a few rayon prints to complement certain collections. Uh, Twining with your favorite quilt or twinning with your favorite quilt. Rayon fabric is perfect for garment sewing and can be used to make a lightweight quilt for a hotter climate. It's a common alternative to silk, perfect for making clothes or a super soft quilt back. Mm, Made from wood pulp, cotton, or bamboo. Popular brands include Ruby Star Society, Art Gallery Fabrics, and Moda Fabrics. Okay. And Kim, so what type of bonding are you doing? You're binding with the Minky. So the old fold over method. Um, okay. You're doing it on your t-shirt quilt. Let me ask you a question, Sean, about your t-shirt quilt. Um, how do you cut out your, and Leslie, you can chime in too, because I know you have a beautiful uh, t-shirt quilt as well. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. What did you use to cut out your t-shirt? Um, do you do a consistent cut like a 12 by 12 or what do you do? Or you how do you what process do you do? I'm asking this question for a friend that's interested in doing a t-shirt quilt. And she was wondering how to cut it out. So I have no clue. I didn't even know what a t-shirt quilt was until Leslie showed us hers. So that is totally 100% new to me, although I can understand the concept. And if you have a lot of nice t-shirts that you want to memorialize, I can see where that is something that would be very beautiful because, like I said, the one that Leslie did or has done is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And me personally, I don't think I will do one because for one thing, I don't have enough t-shirts. I've given away so many t-shirts over the years instead of keeping them because I wasn't quilting and thinking anything about that. So I don't have a lot of different t-shirts that I could use to actually create a quilt from. Um, Sean, you said t-shirt quilts are the devil. You try to keep them the same size, but it was not possible. And you had to learn that you could actually, I could actually treat the design as an applique. Yes, some of them I have. I think Leslie did do that, especially if she just wanted to get like the logo or something off of one of the t-shirts. I think that's what she did and backed it with the same size square. Right, right. Yeah, that is what she did. I'm pretty sure. And Leslie, you said for your t-shirt quilt, you use a combination of a 2.5, a 12.5 by 12.5 Ophir ruler, and use the June Taylor t-shirt ruler. Okay, so there is a June Taylor t-shirt ruler. Okay, we will look that up. There is a June Taylor t-shirt ruler, and you use your 12.5 by 12.5. Okay. And Robin said, you cut the squares the sizes of the designs and fill it with fabric strip or dress shirt pieces if you have the dress shirts. If not, then you use fabric. But yeah, I like the idea. Leslie, I like thanks for your information. And Sean, I really like the idea about the applique of effect because that makes sense because you may have a t-shirt that the only thing on it interesting is the logo and you only want that part to show. So that makes sense. Hey EJ's daughter, how you doing, girl? It's been a minute. How you doing? Thanks for stopping in. And you said that t-shirt, wash and dry. Do not use the fabric softener in the dryer. Turn inside out. Iron interfacing on the wrong side. You want to cut. Okay. And cut them large. Then trim to size. Got it. Got it. Got it. So wash and dry your t-shirts. Don't use fabric softener in the dryer. Turn it inside out. Iron your interfacing or like something like a SF-101 and on the wrong side, and then you cut it out the size that you want. Surely start cutting up your t-shirts and make a pillow. I don't want to do that. I don't want. No, no, no. You guys are not gonna talk me into doing nothing with a t-shirt. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna get myself into that. Cause mm, 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 mm. Okay, that's a good idea, Leslie. You said for the smaller logos, left chest logos, you place four together to fill out the blocks. Good. That makes sense too. So these are good ideas. Good idea. But back to you, Kim. I start cutting up my t-shirts and make a pillow. I don't have any t-shirts that uh I'm that much in love with that I want to keep to the point where I want to make a pillow, a quilt, a blanket, a throw, a runner, nothing. I don't really have all of my t-shirts that I had back in the day when I used to do the walks and different things, you know, the cancer walks and all of those different things that we used to do. Uh, and you get a T-shirt for it and stuff. I don't have those T-shirts anymore. Those would be the ones that I would really want to keep. The ones that I have now aren't anything that I'm that much interested in keeping. So I don't think that that would be something that I would do. I just really put mine in the Goodwill bag and give them to somebody else. They could wear them. That's what I do. I don't do that. So Carol, thank you so much for telling me. I'm just gonna say no. Just say no. And what weight of interface do you use? Okay, EJ's daughter, you said you've made two and working on the third. Your daughter told me hers was the best gift she's ever received, high school and college. And that's kind of how I am with oh, and Claudette, you said you use the Pelon P44 for your backing. I think that's a little cheaper than the SF-101. I think it's cheaper than that, so that wouldn't be a bad idea. Um, but anyway, uh, for the high school and college, that's what made me fall in love with Leslie's uh, quilt because that was her life history, basically. Her being, and I hope she doesn't mind the fact that she's telling a little bit about her. She'll tell me tomorrow night if I do overstep. But she's a veteran, a military veteran, and she has a lot of things that just tells her story of all the things that she's participated in throughout her career. And that just touched me. Just seeing all of the stuff that she's done and participated in, and it's just a life story. If I had something like that, if I could go back in time where I didn't participate in all those kinds of things, but I did do some things. If I could go back in time and pull out some of the shirts that I got from different organizations and participations and walks and what have you that I did back in the day and make a quilt out of it, then yes. But I don't have anything like that anymore. I got rid of those things so long ago. I don't have anything in my opinion that's worth saving like that. That would make a beautiful quilt. But yes, EJ's daughter, I can definitely see your daughter with her high school and her college. That's her life. That's just like with pictures, because I did scrapbooking, and that's how I felt about pictures. You put your pictures in there and doctor them up and make them look. There you go, Leslie. You said a T-shirt quilt is like a visual scrapbook of your life. Exactly, because that's what made me think about it. It's like scrapbooking, and that's how I felt about pictures. You want to take your story and put it in something that shows you where you've been, what you've done, and it's the memory. I don't have the memory like that. I don't have the memories like that in T-shirts. So no, I don't have that desire. But for those people that do, and now that I know what they are, I think it is an absolutely wonderful thing to do. And even with as a memory pillow. People do memory pillows and memory quilts and stuff like that for someone that you care about that passed away, and you have their T-shirts and shirts and what have you, and you want to put all that stuff together and give it to the wife or the kids or whatever, something that they can keep and cherish and stuff like that. Yes, I can see that. I can see that. But see, I don't have any of that either. So I don't think I'll be making a T-shirt quilt anytime. Yeah. And EJ, yes, it is cheaper. It used to be 99 cents a yard at Joann. Yeah, the P90, the P44 is cheaper than the SF 101. So I would go that route if I was going to do a T-shirt, if it serves the same purpose. And Leslie, you said you have a bag of T-shirts that your son wore when he was a Boy Scout, and some I have from the Race for the Cure Walk, Homeless Walk, etc. I use 40 T-shirts of the quilt that I'm talking about. It's a big quilt. It's a big quilt, but it is a beautiful quilt. Really beautiful quilt. And like I said, it tells the story. You can look at that quilt and tell what she's done in her life, or at least some of it. Yes, it's really nice. Now they're talking about canvas fabric. Canvas fabric is the thickest fabric on the list with the durability and wear resistance, making it the perfect choice for sewing bags, jackets, and upholstery. Canvas fabric comes in many styles and designs, so you can find something that fits your style. It is a plain cotton weave, and I don't know if I've ever seen a canvas quilt. Now, what she didn't mention in her little blog that or her that she didn't mention denim. Now, back in the day when we made quilts by hand, now I said I never made a quilt before. I haven't. I have assisted my grandmother in hand sewing a quilt back in the day when I was a kid, because that's the kind of quilts that we had. We made quilts out of jeans, old jeans, and then with some heavy quilts, and they were warm, and they kept you warm. They were heavy and they were warm. You got covered with that quilt, you didn't move because you couldn't, but it definitely kept you warm. And they were made out of blue jeans. They didn't have any style to it, didn't have any design to it. It wasn't anything special. It was just that you got the old blue jeans, cut them up in squares, and you sewed them together. They weren't little pieces. They were nice, big size pieces, and you just put them together and you made a quilt and you bind it and did the whole thing. I had no clue what I was doing back then, and like I said, we did those things by hand. We did not have a sewing machine. Well, my grandmother did have a pedal machine, the old-fashioned singers that you pedal like that. We had one of those that would work every once in a blue moon, but most of the time we did the hand sewing, um, put hand sewing them jeans and making that quilt. So you can make quilts out of denim and make them cute. Now, I ain't gonna do that either. But that is a thought. If anybody's interested. So don't discount the fact that you can use denim as well. And EJ said, for canvas fabric, what type of needle should you use? Denim needle. I would make some tote bags. Now we made some tote bags. EJ, I have a video doing the reveal. The group that I was talking about, where we get together every Wednesday night, we make different projects. And one of the projects that we decided to make was to do bags out of denim. So those of us that didn't have enough jeans at home that they wanted to cut up went to the Goodwill or thrift store and got some jeans and brought them home. Me being one of them. I still got 2 or 3 pairs left that I just picked out a bunch of jeans, and I'll probably make some more. But I made 2 bags out, and everybody made some kind of tote or something. And I personally used the 80 by 12. I don't think I've used anything bigger than that. I used my walking foot. And I did it on my SS 1900 because that was the only sewing machine I had in my house. I do have a Janome, but it's in storage. And I was, it did well, but I was concerned that I was going to damage my SS 1900 because it is a combination sewing and embroidery machine. And when I bought it mainly for embroidery, but I've done both. I've used it for both. More lately for sewing because I use my big machine behind me mostly for my embroidery. But I didn't want to damage it um, to the point where using it with the denim. I just thought that denim was so thick and just tough that it wouldn't be a good idea to keep sewing on it. So what I ended up doing was getting the uh my my jazz 2 is what I have over there that I am using for my sewing now, and I really wanted it for quilting as well because it has a large throat, a large whatever you call it, I guess it's the throat area or whatever that area is called. It's like 12 inches. And I realized doing this quilt that I have that I showed you guys that my SE 1900 really wasn't big enough to put this big old quilt through without fighting with it. When we did the Christmas tree skirt, that was a struggle. When I did my quilt, it was a struggle and all of that. So I said, I need a machine that is more dedicated to quilting. If I'm going to be doing, good night, Claudette. If I'm going to be doing projects that require some durability of your machine. And I know a lot of people buy Jukies and stuff, and I kind of wish I had done a Juki, and I might eventually get a Juki. I don't know at some point, but right now my Jazz 2 is doing perfectly fine, and I'm not having any issues or concern with it. But and I think I have either a 80-12 or a 90-14 in it now. That it's a big needle in there. It's a big needle. So I think it's a 90-14. And it does its thing. It does its thing. So if you're gonna do canvas, I would get the denim needle. That's what I would do. It was a long dissertation just to say to get the denim needle. um Becky, Becky said you started a t-shirt once and then you paid to have it finished. Okay. Good night, Andrea. I didn't even know you were on, but anyway, good night. Talk to you later. Um, Marissa, you say you saved your twin grandson blankets from when they were in your child care. You think you will quilt a pillow for each one of them with their names on it for graduation June. Thank you, ladies, for the idea. Yes, I think that that would be great. I think that would be great. Yes, they would love that. Those are the kinds of things that people cherish and keep, and that's what makes them great. And then I paid to have them quilter. Now I have the handy quilter, Sweet 16. Okay, EJ, you go, girl. And Marissa, thank you, Robin, EJ daughter. Uh, they always ask me what I'm going to do with them. Good. That's a good idea. I'm glad that you got that idea. That's what I love about this channel because people share what they do and all of that kind of stuff. And I think I know for me, I always come away with learning something. I hope I give you guys information that maybe a few tidbits here and there that you weren't aware of or your memories were refreshed. But I just love when you guys share the way you do because everybody can learn from everybody and get all of these good ideas. And that's what I like. And Becky, you say you can quilt on your 10 needle, but you do not like the t-shirts. Yeah. The t-shirts, yeah, I'm not gonna go that route. Thank you, Carol. Just say no. I'm not gonna go that route because I honestly don't see where um that seems like it's a lot of not a lot of work but difficulty. And I don't know, it may not be. It may not be. But anyway, that's a no for me. That's the no for me on the t-shirt quilt. However, I do think it is an excellent idea, and they turn out to be really, really nice. Really, really nice. I like that. I like the way they turn out. Um, we did talk about a lot of places to buy fabrics online, and I showed you the names that everybody was sharing with the group. I just wanted to say a few places. A lot of these places you guys have mentioned already. Missouri Star Quilt um, is a quilter's paradise, according to this. Is a one-stop shop for all of your quilting needs, and it is a family-owned business in Missouri. And it has grown into a quilting empire, offering an impressive selection of fabric, pre-cuts, and notions. And their daily deal feature is a fan favorite with discounts of up to 50% off on selected items. Plus, they do have a YouTube channel, and it's a gold mine of tutorials and inspirations for quilters of all levels. So that is what they are saying about Missouri Star Quilting. Etsy, people mentioned Etsy, and keep in mind, as I was saying, they do have independent sellers. They're not Etsy sellers. They're independent sellers that have the platform on Etsy. Etsy is the marketplace. So it says unique fabrics from independent sellers. And for those who crave one of a kind fabric and want to support small businesses, Etsy is the place because they have a platform that connects you with independent fabric sellers from around the world, offering a treasure trove of unique prints and hand-dyed fabrics. And you can get all kinds of fabrics. I've got an African fabric off of there. I told you about the pink with the black. I've gotten some organza. Um, I think that's pretty much what I purchased off of Etsy as far as fabric is concerned. So you can definitely find fabric on Etsy. Just make sure you do your research so you don't end up with something that you don't particularly care for. Back quarter shop is good. And it says calling all pre-cut lovers. Back quarter shop is your go-to destination for fabric bundles, layer cakes, charm packs, and more. They offer an impressive selection of over 30,000 quilting products, including exclusive fabric lines and designer collaboratives. Their Jolly Bar pre-cuts are a unique offering you won't find anywhere else. And don't miss their daily flash sale for amazing deals on popular items. I didn't know they had a daily flash sale. Hawthorne, someone mentioned, supply company has modern and designer fabrics. If you're on a hunt for modern, on-trend fabric, Hawthorne Supplies is the place to shop. This online store specializes in contemporary prints and designer collections that will add a fresh twist to your quilting projects. They offer a curated selection of high quality fabrics with new arrivals added weekly to keep your stash up to date. The pro tip is join their reward program to earn points on your purchases and snag exclusive discounts. So those are some of the places that this particular article mentioned. They do mention some of the designers like Robert Kaufman has their Kona cotton solid line with over 300 colors, and they're practically legendary in quilting community. I guess that's why I've heard of them, heard of Kaufman and all of that. So one thing to think about when you're buying online, the products descriptions are your best friend. Pay close attention to the details like the fabric content, weight, and width. Didn't mention the width before, but that's important. Most quilting fabrics come in a 42 or 44-inch width, but always double check to ensure you're ordering the right amount because that makes a significant difference if the width is not going to be comparable to what it is that you're expecting when you're ordering your yardage. Some online retailers, like Fat Quarters, provide excellent detailed descriptions that can help you make informed decisions. So be sure you don't forget about your width. Also, as I mentioned, don't forget about requesting swatches for large purchases and your return policies. Join online quilting communities, subscribe to newsletters for deals and updates, compare your prices across multiple stores, understand what the shipping costs and policies are, um, and keep an eye for shops that combine shipping for multiple orders within a certain time frame. It's perfect for when you can't resist that impulse buy. Um, they're mentioning a thriftyfabric.com. I hadn't heard any of you say anything about that place, thriftyfabric.com. I don't think I've heard of it. And it says you can go there for affordable options. As the name suggests, it is a haven for budget conscious quilter. It's an online store that specializes in offering discounted fabrics, including a wide range of quilting cotton. The prices start as low as $2.99 a yard. It's hard to resist stocking up on your favorite prints and patterns. They also offer flat rate shipping, which can lead to even more saving when you're buying in bulk. It's like a fabric buffet where you can fill your plate without emptying your wallet. I don't know about all that. I don't know about all of that. Online at that price, I would be scared to to order that, but they are mentioning it. So, but again, just be sure that you do your research when you are picking fabric offline. And I would highly recommend, which is what I intend to do, is gravitate towards reputable companies that you've heard people that you know and trust mention what they have experienced, like you guys online. All of the places that you guys have mentioned online are places that I would feel comfortable in shopping at because I know people have tried them and they're satisfied with what they've got and not tried, just willy nilly something that's online. Because like I said, I get a lot of emails from different fabric shops that try to sell that are selling fabrics, and I don't respond to all of them. Some of them I'm familiar with. Some of them I will go and check their website out and everything to see if it's something that looks like something that I like, that I'm interested in, and I like what their policies and things are. So just do that, shop around, make sure that you're comfortable with what you're reading. If you can call them and talk to them, that's even better. Get an idea, a feel for the type of customer service that they provide. Are they friendly? Do they take time to talk to you? Are they helpful? Do they answer your questions? Do they make suggestions? Do they try to sell you um, what you're not looking for, or are they helpful in helping you find what you're looking for? Are they pushy with their sales? Are they nonchalant? I mean, so many things that you take into consideration when you're talking to people on the phone that can give you an idea what the company is like, and then make sure that what their policy is if you get something you don't like it. Can I send this back? How much do I have to buy? Like with Joann, and I don't know if they're going to keep their online business or not, but I do know because I bought from them that there's a minimum of 2 yards. And I have at least 2 or 3 pieces of fabric that I bought from Joann during the pandemic that I just wanted this particular design for a particular situation, but I got yardage still because I had to buy 2 yards and I didn't need nowhere near 2 yards of this fabric. But that was the only way I was going to get the fabric. I had to buy 2 yards of it and I still got it because it wasn't something that I wanted or needed 2 yards of. But that was the only way you were going to get it. And that's why I don't buy or stop buying after those experiences of fabric online from Joann because I didn't want to have to buy 2 yards of something that I don't need 2 yards of. I just don't. But now that you're buying stuff online, mostly, if we don't get lucky and find some other places that we can walk in to, you may be forced to buy 2 yards. Now, 1 yard I can be okay with, especially if it's something that I don't need a lot of fabric for. But I don't like having to be forced to buy 2 yards of something that I know I'm not going to need 2 yards of it. But I don't know what the future is going to hold when it comes down to that. EJ's daughter, you said that Soye in Las Vegas has a channel goes live every several times a week. Yes, and I get email from them every day. I've never bought anything from them either, but I get email from them every day, all day long. I get email from Shabby Fabrics, Soye. Uh, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I did join Mrs. Quilty Club or whatever that thing is. Yeah, Mrs. Quilty. I got my first box. Um, I'm on the fence. And the only reason I'm on the fence is because I am not a fan of the fabric. The fabric is not bad. It's good fabric. Got 12 pieces of that quarter. They are coordinated, but it ain't my my style, my color. And so I'm hoping the next box will be a little bit more to my liking. It's not that I dislike it; it's just not something that I would rant and rave over as far as what it looks like. Um, they do have 3 or 4 projects, which the first 2 projects, well, the very first project is something I probably won't do because it's just putting a block together with a bunch of two inch squares, and I ain't gonna do that. I might do it, but I don't know. The second project is a um, pot holder, which is a little bit better because this is the beginner boxes for people that apparently she thinks has never quilted or sewn or whatever. So it's the pot holder. The pot holder, they got the tutorials for it, the stuff as well, which I like. Every one of the projects have a tutorial, so I like that. And so I watched 2 or 3 tutorials. The lady put the pot holder together. It's a bunch of blocks, 2 inch blocks as well. That ain't my cup of tea, but I might do it. But then they have the placemat and they have the lunch bag. Those two I may do because they look like something that I would use, number one, and number two has a little more of a challenge that I would be learning how to do something, I guess, is where I'm coming from. So that's my first box with Mrs. Quilty. I don't know if I'm going to keep using it or not. But anyway, Robin said, don't forget to give me thumbs up. Thank you, Robin, for reminding people. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Don't forget the thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please do. Don't forget to share the video and go on to my YouTube channel and watch all of my YouTube videos that I have up. Like and comment and give me suggestions of things and topics that you're interested in. That's very important to keep the channel moving. I do appreciate that. And Kim, you say you need to make some cozy boat. I want to make some too. I do. I want to make some cozy bows. I AccuQuilt has a cozy die, and we were discussing it. The bigger one is the one that we all wanted, but it doesn't fit our machines. And the smaller one, uh, but I want to make cozy bowls too. So I don't know. That might be a project that I do at some point. Thank you, Kim. I do appreciate. I hope that you guys got something out of this. I try to bring you all conversations and information that I think is useful because I say if it's useful to me, maybe it's going to be useful to somebody else. And I know we're all into the crafting world, so anything that has anything to do with crafting probably is of interest. But I was not aware of how many people were into quilting, which is interesting to learn that because I was not. And now I find the bowl codes are a good idea. Yes, they are there. Now that I find that I'm watching more and more videos about quilting, it's funny. I have to laugh at myself when I realize that I'm looking at something that's pertaining to quilting. And I haven't had my machine on in about a week. So my embroidery machine back behind me, so she mad at me. So I'm gonna have to pull something out tomorrow and make something. I was going to do it today and got sidetracked for some reason. Don't remember what happened, but I think I'm gonna get on my machine and make something tomorrow before tomorrow night. When we all meet together tomorrow night to work on our AccuQuilt cuts and quilts that we're putting together and go from there. So I do need you guys to give me some suggestions. Surely after I log and go look through my I'm not gonna do that. I promise you I ain't gonna do that. Oh, I am not gonna look through my t-shirt. That is a no. That's a no for me, dog. You hear me? That's a no. That's a no for me. I'm not doing no t-shirt quilt. That one I will promise you. I'm not doing a t-shirt quilt because I already know I ain't got none. And the reason I know that I've already looked because we've already had this conversation with my Wednesday group about making a T-shirt quilt. I had this conversation with Andrea, and no, 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 no. I don't have anything that is of value to make a T-shirt quilt out of. So that is a definite no. And Leslie said, "Yes, I will." Uh-uh, that's not gonna happen. I promise you that's not gonna happen. And you won't be able to come back on me next year and say, yeah, you said you weren't gonna do that, but you did. No, that ain't gonna that's not that one's not gonna happen. I'm not making a t-shirt quilt. And I do think that they're lovely. I do think that they have very good merit. And I encourage and support anybody that wants to make one that has what they need to make one with. I am 100% for you. But like I said, for me, mm-mm, I don't have what I need to make one. So that's not going to happen. That's going to be something that what I do want to make is a bow coat. Now that I want to do. Carol says, stay strong. Stay strong. Stand by your convictions, girl. You say no, then it's a no. Make it for my husband. No, I ain't gonna do that either. That much I'm not gonna do. I can tell you that now. Shirley's fingers crossed behind her back. You're killing me. I'm not gonna make one for my husband, even though he has a lot of t-shirts. But I have to tell you, he ain't giving up his t-shirts. I can tell you that now. He is not giving up those shirts. His shirts are. He's got tons of sports shirts and stuff. He's not giving those up. Mm-mm. Nah. By the time he's ready to get those shirts up, I'll be too daggum old to make it. So no, that's not gonna happen. He is not gonna give. I'm gonna ask him when I get off. But now that I will do. When I log off, I'm gonna go ask him about his T-shirt. Would you be interested in a T-shirt quilt where I get your old T-shirts and make a quilt? I'll see what he says. If he says yes, I'm gonna be so shocked, so shocked. Don't mean I'm gonna do it though, because I'm not gonna do that. I'll tell you that now. That sounds like work to me. See if you make a quilt for him, he will. No, no. Mm-mm. Y'all having fun. You all having a wonderful time. Tell him to pick out 9 shirts. Don't you need more than 9? It's 9 blocks. That's a small quilt, I guess. That wouldn't be so bad, really. But mm-mm, no. See, you all gonna try to make me go back on my word. Y'all trying y'all best to make me go back on my word. 9 shirts. Leslie had 40 lap quilt. Leslie had 40 of them, and that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. 9 shirts. Mm-mm. No, but I will tell you guys next week because I promise you that much I will do. I am going to ask him about his T-shirt and if he would be interested in one. And I'm gonna tell you, start small. I'm gonna tell you exactly what he said, and you're getting used to the idea. So you all trying to break me? Mm-mm, mm-mm. Trying to break me? I'm not gonna do it. I am not gonna do it. Leslie, so we will know tomorrow. Yeah, I will let you guys know tomorrow for sure. I will definitely let you guys know tomorrow what he said. Because I promise you, as soon as I log off, I'm gonna go in and ask him about it. See what he said. Just this here. But it's gonna be a surprise to me if he says yes. But that is not on my agenda. Let me tell you that right now. It is not on my agenda. She said nine several times. I did. I was just thinking in my head, nine ain't too bad, is it? Especially since you only got to cut out nine t-shirts. It's not like you got to do nine blocks with all the little pieces in there. But no, ain't gonna do it. You can use both sides of the shirts too. I don't think there's anything on the well, yeah, if he got something on the back, but I don't think he has. But maybe he does. I don't know. But I will definitely let you guys know. That part I'm going to do. I will let you guys know. We could have a his and her shirt, quilt, and maybe we can come up with enough t-shirts. Hmm. I'm just joking with y'all. I ain't finna do that. I ain't finna do that. I'll tell you that now. Y'all come up with something else for me to do, but the t-shirt thing, I don't want to do. I don't want to mess with it. So I need suggestions for more presentations for Tuesday night. You all need just embroider the black spots. Use the other side of the shirt for the filler blocks. Okay. For the filler block. You mean like the sashing or the filler blocks? I'm not understanding that part. And just embroider blank, not black. Okay. Just embroider the blank spot. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. All righty. Yes, the fashion. Okay. Gotcha. Girl, do you know how t-shirt pulls and stretches? You might as well tell me to put a Mickey on the back of it. Giving me all of this work. This is work. My head is already spinning at how much work that is. No, you gotta cut it out. Then you got to put the back and the interface on all that stuff. She could embroider his face. She could embroider his favorite foods on a shirt, I guess. SF20. That's why you iron the interfacing on before you cut. Okay, makes sense. That part makes sense. Oh, okay, 101. Yeah, yeah. On the empty block, men love food. Okay. I get you. You Mickey use press and seal like Becky on power thread, whatever that thing is. Power tools with thread. Press and seal. I haven't seen her use to do anything with Minky, so I have to look that up. She used press and seal on her Minky. I guess to make it easier to stitch. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if there are any out there, don't want to leave you guys out, but I am going to go ahead and say goodnight to you guys while you all are doing everything you can possibly to try to convince me into doing a t-shirt quilt. You all working really, really hard for this campaign. It ain't working. Carol, I'm standing strong. I'm just saying, no, I ain't gonna do it. But I'm gonna tell y'all what he said next week for sure. Leslie, you got to remind me next week when we come on so I can let the group know what he said. But anyway, let me say good night to everybody. Thank you guys for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Don't forget the thumbs up, very important. If you haven't subscribed, please do share it. Come back next week. And I do appreciate you guys. You take care. Good night, everybody. Good night, t-shirt, t-shirt, t-shirt. All righty. Bye-bye.